Please be advised that this video is for the sole purpose of entertainment. Any views are purely my own, are subjective and may not necessarily be true. I do, however, do extensive research for all of my videos. All photos have been found on the public domain. I am using them under the fair use and fair dealing guidelines. I urge everybody to do their own research. Well, hello, it's Murky Meg here. It's Tuesday the 5th of May, and it seems the Sycophant's book has now been officially titled, and it's called Finding Freedom, Harry and Meghan and the Making of a Modern Royal Family. Well, let's break this down, shall we? Have they escaped death row? No. Have they escaped poverty? No. Have they escaped kidnapping? No. Are they being oppressed by a totalitarian regime? No. Have they fled in fear because they're being oppressed or there's been genocide? No, they're just leaving the royal family. And here lies the problem. This title is extremely offensive to those that have actually come across anything that would make them flee anywhere. They are just simply leaving the royal family because 1, they couldn't hack it, 2, they wanted more money, and 3, their obsessive need for privacy, which we all know really isn't a need for privacy because they're everywhere at the moment, is just laughable. Now, it's been said that this new book will be the definitive story and an accurate portrayal of the couple's lives as modern royals. Are they modern royals though? Can they still be classed as the royal family? Technically, yes, they are royal family because they are still part of the Queen's family as such, but they're no longer modern royals. They're not working royals at all, are they? So this is a very misleading statement, even at the start of the book. There's been screenshots going around Twitter of an extract of, it looks like a Meghan book. Everybody's saying that this is the book that Omid and Carolyn are writing. It's not. It's from Andrew Morton's A Hollywood Princess book. Read them. They are shockingly bad. I've actually stupidly ordered the book myself. I think it's high time that I did some analytical research into all things that I need to talk about. So I've started to order some royal books that I don't want to read, and I don't want to read this one either that's coming out in August. But I think I'm going to have to. I'm going to have to put my big girl pants on and read it for you, dear listeners. My problem with this title is that they were only really working royals, well, she was only really working royals for less than 2 years. How much really is there to write? And that is where everything starts to open up. There are now whispers that this book has been in the making for some time and will also concentrate on them pre-wedding. We know that Scooby is one of the authors and that he is very close to Harry and Meghan, and he's often called their mouthpiece. He's one of the few journalists to be given details of their video call with the Queen on her 94th birthday. But the royal family are said to be quite worried about what Harry and Meghan might have divulged in this book. There are some confusion out there as to whether or not Harry and Meghan have cooperated with this book. Some say they have. Some say it's just friends that have cooperated. Nobody's really giving us the real story, and a lot of people have actually tweeted directly to Omid Scooby, yet he still won't give an answer to the direct question, have Harry and Meghan had an insight into this book? Have they cooperated? Nothing. Zip. Which is extremely weird. I would expect that if they had cooperated, he'd be shouting it from the rooftops. Or is it kind of like a double-edged sword where he's having to keep it quiet because he doesn't want to ruffle the feathers of the royal family if they knew that they had a hand in anything that this book says? It's kind of like protecting them, but with getting the story, saying no, they didn't play any part in this book, when really it was spoon-fed to them. News.com Australia have said that the book started as the cracks began to emerge between Meghan and the rest of the royal family in the lead up to her wedding in May 2018. That's a long time for a book to go back. So if cracks were already starting prior to the wedding, why on earth did they let this go on as long as they have? and those close to the palace are fearful for further upset, as the book may well explore the wounds that were left in the wake of Megxit, including the Queen and Prince Charles's anger as well. So it could be a way of getting their story out, that's Harry and Meghan's, without really having any repercussions with regards to this book. Now, we all know very well that Meghan's friends don't speak to the media without her direct permission. This is the whole thing about the court case with the People magazine. It seems quite obnoxious to suggest that they are tittle-tattling, going off to the media, whispering this, that and the other, without her knowing so. Because quite frankly, if you say anything derogatory about her, you're markled, and they don't want to risk that. So whether or not Harry and Meghan or her friends, or both, have been involved in this book, it's going to be extremely damaging to their reputation within the family. And I don't think, if there's anything negative with regards to the family, which I suspect there will be, because they are wanting to put their point across, how on earth is that going to reflect on their relationship within the firm directly, not being working royals, but as family members? This is going to leave a lot of people so stunned, thinking, why on earth did they say that? It's going to be an extremely interesting read. I don't particularly want to read it, but I'm going to have to read it. I want to know what they think their story should be, because I know what it is. I've been doing this for a long time now. What slant will they put on it? So I'm going to ask you whether or not you think Harry and Meghan have been involved in writing this book. Even though it's not been confirmed that they corroborated from the authors themselves, other royal reporters are saying that they did. So which is true? Do you think that they would allow this biography out by one of the people that are their mouthpieces and are in their inner circle without having a hand in what it says? It seems very unlikely that they would just let this go without trying to control the narrative and their story. She's a control freak after all. And I'd love to know that if they did cooperate and have a hand in what this book puts out, whether or not they're going to get a cut of the profits. And it seems that some of the Sugars have their nose out of joint as well because of Omid Scooby's choice of co-author. Now they are saying that Carolyn Durand is a racist and bilious towards Meghan, and they are quite disheartened at his choice of authoring with this journalist. It's an interesting turn of events that they are, or some of them are turning against Scooby because they put him up as the shining beacon of everything that is positive with regards to Meghan and Harry, and he's chosen somebody that has in the past had a little bit of an outspoken word against them. But surely as journalists, you can't all be sweetness and light. There has to be two sides to the coin, surely. They're not angels at all, Harry and Meghan, and some of their behaviour has been questionable. And as a journalist, isn't it your duty to report on both sides? Otherwise, you're just a sycophant, aren't you? Before I end this video, I would just like to bring your attention to something that I thought was the sweetest irony ever. So this book is being published by a company called Day Street Books, which are owned by HarperCollins. HarperCollins are owned by News Corp, and they own News UK, who publish The Sun, amongst other things. Yep, that's right. One of the newspapers that they are no longer engaging with are publishing or have connections through their corporations to the publishers that are doing their book. Oh, the sweetest irony indeed. I'd really love to know your opinions on what you think this book will be addressing. Do you think that the choice of title is out of order? Do you think that it's somewhat obnoxious? Or do you think, yeah, they have every right to use whatever title that they have? How do you think the royal family are feeling towards its release? Do you think that they have been briefed of what it contains? Or do you think that they're going to be totally left in the dark and find out about it on the 11th of August? Will you be reading it? And finally, do you think Harry and Meghan have anything to do with this biography and what it contains? Why on earth is Scooby not responding to the direct question or whether or not they have cooperated with it. As always, I would love to know your thoughts. Thank you very much for watching. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, hit the notification bell, and also that like button. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank all of my followers for all the tips and all the emails, DMs that everybody sends to me. It really is greatly appreciated. So thank you very much for watching once again.